Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Nerds Order Music interview. Today, our guests are two members of Baby Got Back Talk. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. How are
I'm
you?
Doing great.
great.
Let's get started. When did your music project begin?
So Jira, our singer and bassist, began it in when he was in Boston, I think like 2015-ish, 2016-ish, and then he brought it to New York when he moved here. I joined up, I think, beginning of 2016, and Rachel is a recent addition.
hmm Yeah, it was in October, November of last year.
Yeah.
All right. So where did the band name come from? What inspired that?
It's kind of like a multi-step process. I think it was originally it was back talk in reference to a Bell Hooks book, um, and then it became Baby Got Back Talk, just for basically to be like unique on Spotify. There were the other back talks we were competing with,
Hmm.
and it was like a pun on the Sir Mix-a-Lot song.
I knew something seemed familiar about that.
Yeah.
My next question is, what is the music writing process for you and your band?
So usually like Jira will kind of start coming up with, I guess, like the bones of a song, and kind of bring that to practice, and we'll all just like kick it around. Obviously that like works much more smoothly like when you can all be together in like a physical space. So we're still kind of, I guess, figuring out how that's going to translate to like pandemic life. Yeah.
I can imagine how hard it would be making music in a pandemic, especially with everyone so far away from each other.
Yeah, it's tough. We've kind of scattered. Like I've been in North Carolina for a bit. Jira's been in Boston with his family. Rachel, you're still in New York?
I am, going on with recording and songwriting in the middle of a pandemic. My other band that I'm in, Universe Ignore Her with Wes, is also on Baby Back Talk. Yeah, we already had to struggle and figure out how that would work all last year. So it's a very slow, painful sending bits and pieces of things across to each other. And, we might have to go that route this time around too. We're figuring that out, I guess, as we go.
Yeah, it must be a nightmare, honestly. It must be very difficult to be able to do all that, especially when like you can't see each other in person that much.
It's very
It makes
slow
me,
and steady.
Yeah.
it makes me think of like the Postal Service, like circa 2003. Like their name came from like sending like tapes and like the physical mail back and forth. And just like, man, how do they make that album full of like hits off of this, I don't know, this slow, laborious process? I'm gaining like a new appreciation for that.
For sure.
Nice. Well, speaking of music, what was the meaning behind Space Jam?
So Jira is like the main, like the not the main, the lyric writer for the band. So I'm gonna kind of, I guess, try and relay my understanding, but I think that was basically like one side of a story that basically one side of a story that his like about his friend, and then she kind of like made like a video to retell or tell the other side from her perspective. I don't know if that's ever been released, but yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry that Jira is not on here. He's actually, today's like the release date for his book, Boys in the Void, a mixtape to my brother. So, he's kind of yeah, it's a lot going on.
If I knew that, I would have rescheduled. I'm sorry. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna have to read that book now. Now I'm intrigued.
Oh, you should.
You can buy it on Amazon or
Barnes and Noble.
I think they have it at the Strand if you're, oh, you said you're in Connecticut.
I'm in Connecticut. I'm not too far from New York, but I'm like a bit away.
Yeah.
Road trip over, you know.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't mind, but we're kind of in a pandemic right now.
True story.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely send me a link to that. I will check it out. That's awesome.
For sure.
My next question is, who would you love to work with, like in the recording studio and on stage?
You want to go first, Jake?
We'll have to work within a recording studio and on stage. Is that just like who's my favorite artist?
You can list as many as you want. You have more than one option.
In terms of producers, I've always really liked Sam Pora. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Who he did like a lot of. He's out in like on the West Coast, so it's tough. But he did a lot of the kind of like emo revival type things, like circa 2010, like The Story So Far, Troubled Coast. So that's like a producer that I think would be awesome to work with.
I guess if I had a choice, I would choose Alice Bag. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her. She fronted the Bags way back in like the 70s, I want to say. She's out on the West Coast, still makes music, and she's just this badass, like older Chicana lady that is my idol. I think she's an amazing performer. She produced I'm not sure if you heard of the Meter Fatty and the Puff Pastries album that came out 2 years ago, I think. And she just has a nice, fun way of working with folks, it seems, and it comes across in the recording. So I think that would be a nice, fun time if I got a chance to work with her.
I'll definitely have to look into that now. I've never heard of that. I will give it a listen today.
BGBT
I always love
West,
discovering.
apparently.
I always love discovering stuff. So yeah,
I'll send you the whole playlist. I'll give you links.
Definitely. So are you the one I was talking with on Instagram, or was it Jake?
Me and Jira.
Oh, so it's shared. Got you.
Yeah.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that. All right. My next question is, what is the best piece of advice you could give to your listeners and to future musicians?
You know, that's like the second time I've been asked like for a piece of advice, and I'm still not ready for it. Oh man.
I can go if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, the only piece of advice I think that's worth giving is to just start making music, whether it's with yourself or your friends, whether you think you're good or not, honestly, because the first step is getting started, and you never know where it can go from there. Even if you don't end up, going all over the world and whatnot, it's definitely rewarding in and of itself, and it's worth it.
I'll second that.
I like that a lot. I really do.
My motto.
A good one to live by, honestly.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Jake? Any ideas? No?
Man, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure my own stuff out. I don't have
get
good
that
advice.
entirely. I totally get that feeling.
I mean, I feel what Rachel is saying though, like for sure. I mean, whenever like, this probably is not like a niche opinion with like musicians, but like I feel like we just like make the music that like we want to hear. Like there's just like stuff that like you hear in your head that you're like, I want to like hear that really. And yeah, I mean it's good to keep sight of that.
Definitely. The main reason I like this kind of music is because there's so much like raw emotion in it, which is why I love rock and why I love metal. And I always love hearing messages in songs like Space Jam and other stuff like that. It gives you a whole new feeling to music and to life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of emotion.
I get that too. I mean, pop punk, for what it's worth, I don't know how people feel about it now in like 2021, you tell me. But there's always the fun side to it. And I think for a lot of us who are going through it, we don't want to dwell in sad songs all the time. I mean, when we do, it's great, but it's always nice to show joy and experience joy. And I think pop punk is a good vehicle for that at times.
Definitely. Like there's time for depressed music to help you get through shit, and then you need the happy, uplifting stuff to help you get forward. Like all of it has a place.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's like a range of like, even within just like pop punk and stuff too. Like, I mean, one of the things that I kind of find interesting about like Baby Got Back Talk songs in particular is how there'll be that kind of disjoint between like the feel of like the music and the feel of the lyrics, where like you can kind of engage with it on like the level that you want. You can just, if you just need the, I guess like the pick me up, you can just kind of like let it wash over you, and then there's like another deeper level of, oh, they're talking about something serious, like on like When They Go Low. That's like on the surface a really happy song, but obviously it's like a very serious message.
For sure.
That's why I love your stuff. Like I see that a lot, and I'm just like, I love this. Speaking of which, you guys recently released an album, if I am correct. Let me double check that release date. I just want to make sure I got the right stuff here.
It's this past July, so almost a year ago actually, which is crazy.
I know. What was that one like? What? Never mind. I was gonna ask like what inspired all the songs, but I know the songwriter isn't here. Damn.
I mean, I think we have like, there are like relationships to the different topics as well. Like I mean, certainly like the most poignant I think is When They Go Low, which like deals with police violence, like racist police violence, which obviously has become like a huge topic over the past year. And I mean, like we wrote it in, I guess like 2019, but it, predating like the groundswell of like support, and you kind of like hope that it will stop being relevant. But yeah, that's kind of a downer. I mean, they're kind of like eclectic as well. Like Anywhere But Here is mostly just like a very like bubblegum pop song. So I mean, as far as like what inspired the songs, I mean, I think it's like it's a pretty like eclectic series of group of inspirations. That's as much as I'll be able to speak for Jira, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go through it later and just like blast all the songs. I haven't been able to do that yet. I've been wanting to, but like I work with a lot of groups. So I have to play a lot of different stuff. My whole day is literally just me playing a bunch of different albums. So I'm over here like trying to make time for this because I've been wanting to listen to this for at least like a month now, and I haven't had the time.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just been waiting. I'm like so patiently waiting to listen to this. And that actually gave me the idea to reach out to you guys. I'm like, no, I want to actually work with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured.
Well, thank you for reaching out.
Of course, I love music.
But yeah, we do try and like keep, I guess, to the topic of like the inspiration being like eclectic and listening to it all in one go. Like we are intentionally trying to, vary it and have like different feels and emotions in the lyrics and in the music throughout kind of the album.
Definitely.
Like there's not like one kind of, like guiding star inspiration behind all of it.
Yeah. All right. I think my final question will be, what is next for Baby Got Back Talk?
We're planning we're planning on like getting back together in person once we've all, got our pokes, fingers crossed.
Yep, I just got mine recently. I got my last one, so I'm not waiting for that 2-week period to be over to where it's like fully kicked in.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get back together and write and stuff. Personally, I would love to play like live physically to people, humans that are like breathing in front of me before the end of the year. But that seems like, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I don't feel like it's likely. I've already reserved the idea that shows for me aren't happening till 2022, just to be safe, I guess.
I totally feel that. Like I work with labels, like smaller labels, and we're trying to plan a festival, but like we're waiting until COVID is totally over. We're trying to get a bunch of unsigned artists and the bands with their labels into this big festival, but we have to wait until this whole pandemic is just blown over.
Yeah. I mean, we've found other ways and other outlets to, I guess, cope and still generate like content and like do stuff for folks to listen to. You know, we just, for the last 3 months in a row, did watch parties for movies, rock and roll themed movies. So the last one was Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones. I think we did School of Rock. And what was the first one again?
Josie and the Pussycats.
How did I forget that one? But yeah, so, you know, just different ways to engage. I mean, of course, like the will to go and play in front of folks is so strong, but you know, you get creative and there's other outlets till you're ready, I guess.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. It's like you want to start performing again, but you have to be careful because of the pandemic and just try to keep yourself busy, essentially.
Yeah, you know, mindful and aware of the risks, and you know, that's a responsibility we all don't take very lightly, especially with each other either. So
yeah, I think everyone in this band is like very much on the same page about like the risk profile we're willing to accept, which I think is good. It would be really awkward if like a couple of us were like really gung-ho about like mixing back together or not being cautious, and other people were like, no. But yeah, we're all on the same page.
Awkward is a good word to use.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I got bad news for you. That's not gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, no one's trying to rush it, but I definitely miss it. Like, it's not, we've done like some live or not, like, you know, streamed shows.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same as being on stage in front of an audience. I totally get that. I miss going to concerts and festivals. Like, it was just so much fun.
Yeah, I'm really stoked to stand against the wall again in front of like the 4 sets of different bands and just like drink $2 beers with friends that I don't see unless we're at shows. You know, I'm sure a lot of us have similar feelings.
Oh, definitely.
Can you believe you'd just be like pressed up against people in a crowd before and you'd leave with like 60 different people's sweat on you? Like, that's crazy that we used to do that.
Just drenched, and I realized a long time ago that I have the knees of a 50-year-old, but you know, I'm still pretty eager to go and throw myself around.
I'm the same way. I miss like stuff like Warped Tour and all that. I miss going to that. Like, they're bringing it back, thank goodness. I just hope it happens. Like I hope the pandemic ends soon enough so that can happen.
Well, we'll see.
I heard they were trying to do Bamboozle again too.
Oh,
for real?
Is that true?
That'd be interesting.
Interesting.
I can see now.
School throwback.
And like we get like the second Woodstock. Hilarious.
I'm not ready.
I don't think any of us are. Well, I mean, hippies will be there. That's about it.
Oh wait, are they actually bringing Woodstock back, or are you?
No, I'm making a joke. I'm making a joke. Warped Tour is coming back though. That was confirmed by Kevin Lyman. He is bringing back the Warped Tour.
That's kind of dope.
Kind of wish you left it alone, but all right.
He said once this pandemic is like totally done, he's bringing back Warped Tour. I'm like, yes.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, for real. I'm gonna be just running over there like, yeah, let's go. I miss those days. Like concerts, you can be yourself. No one's judging you for shit. It's just you having a good time with a bunch of random people who are into music.
Word.
Yeah, that's the best.
It really is. I love it. You can go there without knowing anyone and walk out with like 15 new friends. All just because of music alone.
I mean, it's also like our outlet, right? Like some of us don't have places that are safe and welcoming, you know, not just like without the with other weirdos in the room, like even amongst other weirdos in the room.
Yeah.
It's not always the most inviting and safest of places. I think that's what I miss about our scene, or how I feel about our scene in particular, is the idea of like minded people that are conscious and supportive of everybody else in the room. So that's the aspect I miss. Can't find that at Warped Tour, but but you know, down the street is appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, like New York, that's like a very nice close knit scene. It's like definitely more, I guess, like, yeah, inclusive than going to shows at like Webster Hall and stuff. And
for sure.
Yeah, music is basically therapy. That's a really good way to put it. That's why those shows have such an impact on people.
Yeah. Well, you know, we want to, I mean, I know for like folks that are POC and queer, like we thrive in spaces amongst folks that are, you know, of our same groups and shit. And obviously it doesn't entirely need to be exclusive, but these are the things that in our New York scene that I'm familiar with, at least, is really predominant, and it's warming, and it is therapeutic.
Yeah. All right. I think great. To wrap this up here. All right. This has been another Nerds Order Music interview. Today, our guests were 2 members of Baby Got Back Talk. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. I hope you all have a great day and stay safe.
thank you very much.
Good
It was a
one,
pleasure.
You're the queen of the last frontier.